Hello Sagittarius and welcome to my channel GreenLion Goddess Tarot. This is your fortnightly reading for March the 16th through to the 31st. So moving out of Pisces season into your fellow fire sign Aries. So that should be a shift that you'll probably notice moving back into a fire energy. And yeah, Saggy, this reading is for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon and Rising. Always recommend to watch all three of your placements if you know where they are, because this gives you a fuller picture of what's going on for you. And also this is a general reading, Sagittarius. Just take what feels right and leave the rest. And if it does really resonate, there will be an extended reading. The link for that will be in the description box below. And Sagittarius, I also want to let you know I've opened up for personal readings, so the link for that is also in the description box below. Now we have Sword 5 Uranus Aquarius coming in, which would suggest there's been some kind of conflict around you, especially mental conflict or some kind of communication that hasn't really been working for you. Sometimes this is with a group dynamic as well. We've got Cup 5 Pluto Scorpio. My goodness. Okay. And it's made you pretty unhappy, actually, with this Pluto Scorpio energy, this conflict that's around you at this moment in time. So you've got 2 5s, which are the cards of conflict around your emotions, around your mind. And we've got, oh, thank goodness to do with this. We've got the World card, Saturn, and Capricorn, Aquarius, Libra, and Sword Queen, Libra Throne. So this is like, okay, it gets resolved. There is a resolution to this. There is a completion of this cycle. And interestingly, with all this Libra energy coming in, it is around relationships, or a particular relationship where there's been quite a bit of conflict around it. So this is where it's like you can say goodbye to that cycle of conflict, and it's finally like been able to find some closure with it, which is actually really nice. And it brings in clarity of mind. It brings in some more balance, and you know, things have could have got a little bit pointed, but with this Pluto energy, it's kind of saying, you know, it's an elliptical energy. It's come back around to be looked at. This energy's been around for a while, and it's come back around. It's making you unhappy, and it's a sense that there's an opportunity this time around to transform it. Let it go, complete the cycle, restore balance, and just be able to kind of move on. Quite literally, you're freeing yourself from something that was probably felt like quite a fixed energy. Maybe you had some fixed ideas or differences of ideas or opinions as well. And it was like sometimes the Five of Swords comes in when you're with a group that you're just not resonating with, and it's like, or you're in a situation that is not resonating, and you're constantly being like, the words and the communications that are being said are being triggered underneath the wounds, like triggering a wound. We have the Sun card. I've got everything upside down. So in comes the Sun. The Sun is exalted in Aries. So the Sun is going to be really, really strong, which is a very strong fire energy, like I said. And so you're going to be really feeling this. It's bringing in a lot of clarity, breakthroughs, and happiness, which is really fantastic. I feel like another card flipped over. Maybe not. I'm sure there was one there. Where is it? Crossed by the Empress. Okay. So gosh, this is big energies coming in. This is potentially somebody that you loved, and the love has kind of felt like it's been a bit of a the love is kind of being crossed at this point in time. We've got the Three of Swords. Okay, so everything's kind of coming out in different ways now, but it just feels like, you know, crossed by love. And we can see that this is a big love that's coming in. And the Empress can sometimes represent mother or a mothering energy as well. It doesn't have to necessarily be so, but it does represent love and even fertility for some of you if there's conflict around this and there's been a cycle of disappointment, sadness, loss as well. So we're saying goodbye to that, which is actually really, really nice. And it's like you it's like you're wanting to step into success here. Oh my goodness. Okay, the King of Wands. They keep flipping out in a very different way. This is the fire energy. This is connecting back in, and it's a real Aries energy. It's connecting back into what it is that you truly want. So these could be things that have not worked out in terms of successes. These can be little failures or things that just kind of didn't work out. It could be related to a specific relationship, but it could be also a group of people as well. And so it's this sense that this wound that's been triggered under the surface for you, Sagittarius, is actually finally being able to be cleared. Emperor, look at this Aries energy coming in. The Nine of Swords, the Knight of Cups, this is you. The Seven of Swords coming in. The Ace of Cups, you're wanting some healing, some love and healing, or the love back at least with this Ace of Cups. This is the card that will heal this Three of Swords. It's beautiful. The Ten of Wands, okay, and the King of Swords. Wow, and at the base, the Queen of Swords. Okay, you got the Queen of Swords twice and the King of Swords. So much going on inside, like the element of air, plus also the element of fire. So fire and air, a lot happening in those elements, which is around your thoughts, your motivation, your drive, your passion, what it is that you really want. So you're kind of getting, and how those things have in the past led to disappointment or conflict and loss, and how this can be balanced out. So it's all, I love the fact the sun came in, because this is breakthroughs, and especially to do with things that could be related to children or your childhood, your inner child, because you can see the little child there on the horse. It's breaking through. It's kind of like wanting to get your vitality back, as well. It's like wanting to feel like the sun is shining, feeling like everything is clear. It's like just wanting to feel good again, because you've been crossed by the Empress. And this is like, the Empress represents expect a great outcome. It represents love. It represents money. It represents good results. And if this is what feels like it's blocking you, it feels like they're the things that have not been happening, or they're, for whatever reason, there might be pressure on that to be making those sort of things occur. And it's just like whatever this pressure is that's been building up here, it feels like it's kind of blocking you, this big energy of the Empress. And part of you's kind of it can be that you've stopped expecting a good outcome, or stopped connecting to the love, or stopped hoping that there'd be more money coming in, however it's presenting to you. So this is why in your conscious mind you've got the Three of Swords. So this is, the wound. This is what's wounding you, and you're kind of thinking about it or seeing it clearly, or wanting to heal it as well, and heal some wounds, heal what is coming up around this with this Three of Swords. And because I feel like what's happening is that you've, like I said, you've taken on a lot. You've taken on a lot of responsibility, or a lot of energy related to this conflict, and it's created like kind of a heaviness, or it's hurting you. So I think that you're seeing that it's in a way blocking your success and blocking your ability to open up to more money and more love, open up to abundance, really, when this is what's coming through. So it's just kind of clearing a little abundance block as well, which is connected to quite a few little different things in your life. At the base, we've got the King of Wands. Now, the thing is, the King of Wands, and you've got the Emperor in the recent past, these energies want to bring in success. Like the fire with the sun energy, it's all being activated. Your fire is starting to kind of starting to trine this energy, and it's like it wants to move you forward. It really does. And so the King of Wands at the base, this is the root of the issue. This is around leadership and success, and getting what it is that you want, and having the vision for your life, or for whatever it is that you wanted, and to actually be achieving that as well. Now, it could be related to a particular person who this King of Wands could represent. Doesn't have to be gender specific, but this is somebody that could have been another fire sign, somebody that could have just been very passionate energy in your life. So somebody that potentially hurt you. But I do feel like the King of Wands has got a lot to do. It's a very successful energy. So a lot of this has got to do with success and, creativity. So in the recent past, we've got the Emperor energy. So It's kind of interesting because you have been dealing with issues to do with power, with authority, with your own power and authority. And you might have been dealing with power and authority figures. And, we've got the Three of Swords and the Five of Cups here, which suggests that it maybe hasn't gone as well as you like, or there was, the wound and the disappointment and losses connected to this. Maybe you had a bad boss or a toxic boss, or you weren't recognized, or you didn't get a job, or you were overlooked, or it's a sense that it was hard to kind of step into and assert what it is that you want and do things on your own terms. So the Emperor in the recent past would suggest that there's been kind of a bit of a block with that. And it's kind of interesting what the Emperor and the Empress, because the Emperor is like the divine masculine energy, and it's kind of like wanting to go out there and do things in the world, whereas it's crossed by the divine feminine. So there's something inside of you that's almost kind of stopping this from happening. And this doesn't have to be your whole life. This is just an aspect. Something's calling you at the moment to step into an area of success, and it's saying, why hasn't this happened? And so I can see that in the near future, the Nine of Swords is kind of like, a lot of pressure to be very successful, or to release some of these pressures, or release some of this hurt, is kind of, I think you could feel quite stressed out about some things. This is stress and worry. This could be some sleepless nights. This could be thinking fearful thoughts, but usually they're things that are not going to happen. So with the Nine of Swords, just a little bit of stress and worry coming up in the near future. But you're presenting as the Knight of Cups, which is that you really do want to follow your heart here. You're wanting healing for your heart. You're wanting to listen to your heart. You want to step into a greater heart space and to be able to follow your passion, follow your desires. It's calling you. It's something that you love doing, and you want to follow this. The Knight of Cups can be like a romantic, dreamy energy as well, wanting more romance in your life. And it's kind of, that's why I think that this Three of Swords has come up, because you're like, okay, there's something inside your heart that says it wants you to follow. It wants to go down this certain path. And then you go, well, why haven't I gone down that? And I come across this, the Three of Swords. So this is an interesting thing, is there's so much going on inside your mind. This Three of Swords is actually swords piercing the heart. It's not the cupped element, although we do have Five of Swords and the Five of Cups, but it's the thoughts and the way you've mentally processed something that's really hurt you that is actually the cause of what's going on here, is still the cause of pain as well. But we do have in the energy around you the Seven of Swords, and the reason I brought this up, because this is actually still an Aquarius energy and an energy of the element of air, because ultimately, like, your mind is wanting to free you from something. There's so much conflict going on inside your mind with this, and it's really been brought up to the surface to be looked at. And the Seven of Swords is where you're evaluating your thoughts, you're evaluating your plans, you're evaluating how things are going and where you're going. And it's kind of like a half in, half out energy, because it's like you're half in the old energy of feeling kind of locked or stuck in a room with this Three of Swords energy. Imagine you're just stuck in a place that you're constantly being triggered, but then you're 1 foot out where you're wanting to step towards freedom, where you're free of this energy. So it's kind of an interesting, you're having this kind of conversation in your mind where your mind is wanting to free you, liberate you. And so you're kind of formulating a plan with that. Hopes and fears, the Ace of Cups. This is love. This is healing. This is new love, birth of all sorts of things. And, we've got all this fertility kind of issue energy and symbolism as well, because the Empress represents fertility, the Ace of Cups represents birth, and it feels like you want something really special and new to be coming in here, something beautiful to be birthing in your life. And you're also wanting the healing that is coming in, that's helping you move on from old energies that have stopped you, kind of stopped this happening. So yeah, and that's why the Knight of Cups, you're connecting to your heart. And so this is why you see, interestingly, we've got the fire and the element of air. We've got the wands, the Ten of Wands and the King of Swords. Both of these elements end up working together, and ultimately it's your mind that gains control with this King of Swords and a lot of Aquarius energy coming in. So very rational, very logical, a lot of Aquarius and Libra energy. So you're dealing with these kind of things. And so you might find yourself even having a lot of dealings with Aquarians and Librans and having conversations. You might even be butting heads with them or disagreeing with them. And that's just mirroring back what's going on inside of you. But what I love with this is the Ten of Wands is you release this. You release this burden. It's like, it took up way too much space. It was creating too much pressure. Perhaps you were putting too much work into something that wasn't working or was just creating pain. This can be overworking. It can be overburdened with responsibility. It can just be something that you took on that you've held around, a heaviness in terms of a heaviness in your heart, a heaviness inside your mind. So it can be anything related to that. It can be anything like guilt or sadness or shame. It can be any of those sort of things. And the King of Swords just goes, you know what, I'm making a decision to move on and release that. It's like chop. Very, very logical energy with the King of Swords and just going, you know what, I'm not doing that anymore. So this is where you might make a decision to cut something out of your life. Quite literally, if you've taken on too many responsibilities, have you taken on too many burdens, have you put too much pressure onto yourself? So this is kind of like where you're freeing yourself from some things, and some of it can be internal, some of it can be internal emotions and thoughts, some of it are external things. And this is where the balance is being restored, because we have the Sword Queen, the Libra throne. She's come in twice. She's saying on an internal level with this World card, you've done you've done the work, the cycle is completed, balance is being restored. And this is something that's happening both externally in the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Internally, there's this inner resolve, there's this inner clarity, there's the go ahead. It's like the Queen of Swords, the divine feminine, the insight. When you're feeling okay and clear inside your mind, then that part of you gives the King of Swords, which is the masculine, divine masculine, to go ahead. Make the decision, chop that out. It's very like the left and the right sides of the brains, the divine masculine and feminine. This, you might find that this is you working with somebody else as well. You're having some conversations around how things have been out of balance and how to restore balance. And this all feels like really good for you, Sagittarius, because you're going to feel so much lighter, you're lightening your load here and being able to ultimately, and it'll be interesting to see where we go with the extended. Ultimately, the thing that's crossing you, this Empress, is what in terms of the good results, the great outcome, the abundance, money, love, is what the King of Wands is wanting to bring in. So this is what you're wanting to bring in deep down. So it does feel like it's going to be it's a journey, but it's understanding that something has completed and finished and you can let it go, and you are now free from an element of conflict that has been around and has had a hold over you. So this says, I'm willing to let go. And because part of this is that you have to do a little bit of the work yourself. So it says, I release others to experience whatever is meaningful to them, and I am free to create that which is meaningful to me. So, and both of these energies with the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords, it's all happening inside your mind, and it's a very clear boundary. It's very clear cut. It's ownership and authority of your own mind. So, yeah, interesting. Let's pull a charm to finish this off for you, Sagittarius. Oh, beautiful. We've got the little turtle. Okay, so this is kind of like a baby turtle. And what I'm getting is that this turtle's just incubated and it's just been born. So the turtle is like it's an element of water. It represents Cancer, actually, the Cancerian energy. And it's just been born, and it's kind of like there's something that, and turtles represent soul, things that are good for the soul. So something very beautiful and good for your soul is just kind of cracked open and come out of its egg, the turtle. And it's a little bit of wobbly. It's like trying to find its feet at this moment in time. It's like, where am I? What am I doing? And it hasn't quite worked out what it's meant to do and where it's meant to go. eventually it will work out to move straight forward and to go across the sand and move into the ocean and step back into the source. But for the moment, there's a sense that something very beautiful is birthing. It's just finding its feet, it's orientating, and there's going to be a journey across the sand. But eventually the destination is going to be coming back to this sense of replenishment, coming back to the source, feeling really, really good for your soul. So it's a beautiful energy. This energy does need to be protected and nurtured for the moment, and to kind of understand that how things function in this new world and space that it finds itself in. It feels like your world is shifting and changing. Absolutely. And you're learning new things and trying new things and finding yourself in new spaces. And they're things that you might not necessarily have a lot of experience with, but it's kind of like you want to be there. Like it's a case of you finding yourself there anyway. So, and it's learning to walk again, learning to go on a new journey, and learning to get to the destination. So that's everything that's coming in for you, Sagittarius. So I'm going to take it over to the extended reading now. Let's see what's coming in after we release that burden, after you make that chop and make that decision. What's coming in, because I do feel like it's really connected to this Empress energy. It's opening you up to love. It's opening you up to fertility. Where does the turtle go once it finds its legs? Where is it all heading? So this is all in the near future and the future beyond. And we're going to pull any clarifiers or any extra intuitive messages that you need to hear, as well as tune into love, money, career, and work. And we're going to focus in on those three areas and pull some cards for that. So that's all in the extended reading. The link is in the description box below. I would love it if you come over, and I usually pin the link to the comments as well. But if this is where we're leaving each other, Sagittarius, thank you so much for joining me. Please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, because that lets YouTube know that you support this channel, and it helps with the growth of the channel. And I love reading your comments as well. So take care, Saggy, and talk soon.